You kids want to rock some dragons? Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to something that's probably going to be titled Staring At, but is obviously quite a bit different. I'm using the green screen for what God intended, for gimmicky bullshit that doesn't work right, because the screen either isn't big enough or it's not a clear division. Oh boy, look, I'm using instant transmission to send my arm to the next dimension. So Dragon Ball Super recently had its 100th episode, and it's right at the crux of the Tournament of Power arc, or the Universal Survival arc, I think is what people are calling it now. But I kind of wanted to throw my hat in the ring, and I kind of wanted to talk about this series because I've been enjoying it since it came out, and I've rewatched the series a couple of times as well, just because I'm like, oh, I want to take a look back at that thing, because I want to have a look at that. Because this series is a very, very good building on top of Z, and it's a very, very good alternative to GT, because GT is trash. And in many, many ways, it does improve upon Dragon Ball itself, but it's also got a lot of problems, because Dragon Ball Z had a lot of problems. The anime, of course. I'm talking solely anime here, because the manga doesn't even really figure into this at the moment. And there's a whole bunch of other YouTubers that do this, and I am aware of that. You got Masako, the voice of Goku for Dragon Ball Abridged, you got Quaman, you've got everyone and their fucking grandma, but I wanted to throw my 10 cents in the ring, and this is what I got. So, Dragon Ball Super, I really, really liked it so far. There were a couple of dips where I was like, hang on, that's fucking lame, dude. That's real fucking lame. And I just, I hated it. Unfortunately, that starts at the beginning of the series. Very, very unfortunately, with the whole retelling of the two movies that came out in anime form, with mild differences to better fit the upcoming anime, like the redo of Battle of Gods and redo of Resurrection F, and those movies were okay on a movie budget. When you're retelling the exact same story on an anime budget, oh, fuck me. Okay. Those sections, those arcs, were plagued with animation errors, weird things, like, just in the background, things that didn't make sense, like Goku's face was missing at one point, I think I saw. Beerus's character is very, very different than what you would expect. He's a lot more goofy. He is way more goofy than he was in the movie, which kind of subtracts from his character, but I guess works because he's supposed to be a good guy now? Question mark. He has leveled out over time as the series has gone on. He's become a lot more like he was in the movie, in my opinion. In my opinion, just with the big old circle now, in my opinion. So I waited until that arc was done before I got in. I waited until Battle of Gods arc was done. I watched it all the way through, and then I was like, okay, next bit. Fortunately, next bit was the Resurrection of F, which I hadn't seen the movie at the time. But even I realized that this story is kind of shit. Like, there were a few moments in there that I would, I guess, call filler, like where Vegeta goes on a family cruise with Bulma and Trunks. Well, not a cruise, they go to like an island resort with Bulma and Trunks, and you get to see Vegeta in dad mode, and it's really cool. And you get to see like little moments like that where Vegeta, like, he's being a dad, and it's really nice. But he's also the world's shittiest dad at the same time. That's really cool, and you like seeing how all these former villains have just kind of adjusted to being Goku's friend, like how Piccolo, who in the original series went from being the evil clone of the literal demon king of Satan himself, to becoming the world's greatest dad for Gohan, to becoming the world's greatest granddad for Pan. Like, there's just a whole bunch of little things sprinkled in that early section that are really, really good, but they're unfortunately held down by the shitty movie plots that they've got to rehash. Why they couldn't have just launched in and be like, hey, these movies happened, I don't know. Because who's gonna watch Dragon Ball Super that didn't at least pay attention to the fact these movies existed? Because not a lot actually happened in these movies that couldn't be hand-waved away as, hey, this happened during this movie, go watch it, or go read the manga that came out for it, or fucking find it on DVD, fucking whatever. Like, the Golden Frieza arc, all that does is set up Frieza. It sets Frieza up to come back. Nothing really happens there. Nobody important dies. Well, dies and stays dead. Nobody... There's no planetary destruction that matters in the end. There's no stakes. Everything goes back immediately to status quo immediately afterwards. And even setting up Frieza doesn't need to happen because Frieza doesn't come back until episode 80-something. 80, maybe 90-something. So, the setup done in that arc could have been done later on and hand-waved away the exact same way they hand-waved the power creep when Frieza showed up for the Tournament of Power. He thought really, really hard and got a new power level. Like, that's a shitty explanation, but, I mean... introducing him so early in the anime to bring him back later on does not solve your problem. To deal with the power creep in Dragon Ball, and that's always been an issue with Dragon Ball, every 10 episodes there's a new set of power level. By the Frieza saga, like when we started Z, Goku had a power level of about, what was it, 900? Right? 900 without his weighted clothes, and he's powered up 900. Piccolo's around about the same. With his weighted clothing, he was about 100. Skip forward to the end of the Frieza saga, Goku's power level is like, what, like 1 million, 2 million? It increased by a factor of several thousand just by the end of 2 arcs. We've been through 4 arcs, I think, in Super so far. Like, 4 small ones and like a couple of major ones. The power creep is real. So there's really no reason for that to have been a thing. So... and then with Battle of Gods, all that really happened was we got Super Saiyan God out the deal, and Goku got in with the God of Destruction and Whis. I mean, Super Saiyan God never shows up again. Ever. It's immediately replaced with Super Saiyan Blue, which, by the way, is a much better looking form. That's just me, though, because I like the color. And red is very, very edgy, which, you know, we don't want any more Cold Steel the Hedgehogs. Like... the introduction of Goku to the gods could have been done another way. Or, you know, if you don't just be like, oh, hey, the movie happened, go watch the movie, you could have just been like, hey, Shin, oh, hey, Shin, you defused from Kibido Kai. Okay, neat. We need more power. Can you do this fucking thing you did with Gohan with us? And Shin would be like, oh, no, sorry, I can't. I use only for Gohan because he was the chosen one, because he could pick up that sword. But I know a guy. That could have been a thing, because Shin and Beerus are shown to fucking be connected like this, even though Beerus was never mentioned in the past. Like I said, Dragon Ball has problems because it's made up as they go. Always has been, but that's why we love it. Like, you know, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that, like, the first 20 episodes of the series might as well, like, I say 20, but it's probably more. It's like, the first 2 arcs might as well not have happened. Really, when it comes down to it, the first 2 arcs may as well have not happened or have been hand-waved away, but like, hey, this happened in the movie. Like, I understand, like, the general Dragon Ball fan is like, oh yeah, the movies aren't canon, and Toei would agree with you, but there could be a precedent to be like, hey, yeah, no, this movie was a thing, and this is where we met Beerus, and this is where Golden Frieza showed up. Or you could be creative, and you can make up your own thing, and not have this giant fucking plot contrivance happening. The episodes between those arcs, though, and the episodes immediately after, were really, really good slice of life stuff. Little goofy goofersons that were really, really good, and I liked them. they really don't fall into anything chronological. So if you ask me to place them on a timeline, I would not be able to. But the Great Saiyaman stuff with Pan, the stuff with Emperor Pilaf and his lot, and Mai, and Trunks, and Goten, everything there was really, really fun, really, really goofy, really, really good. And I loved it. I loved the shit out of it. Then we're introduced to the concept of multiple universes, with Beerus has a twin brother named Champa. We're in Universe 7. There's Universe 6, which is a twin universe where everything's kind of the same, but not. Like, the Saiyans are good guys. Frieza is a good guy, and not dead. Saiyans don't have tails. Vegeta is probably king, or he's Kaba. It's never really explained because we never really see any of the Universe 6 Saiyans. All we meet is Kaba, and then later Caulifla and Kale. And I'm personally of the opinion that Kaba is either Universe 6's version of Vegeta, or he is Universe 6's Vegeta's son, if that makes sense. Because he uses all the same attacks as Vegeta, and he uses the exact same fighting style. You know, the one where he goes like this, right? You know, where he just pulls it over his head for some reason, which was always really weird, but it's cool anyway, because it's cool to do. He does the Gallic Gun, and he even looks a little bit like Tarble, which would make sense if he's Vegeta's kid, but that's just me. It's not confirmed yet, but I think that Kaba is alternate Vegeta's kid, which would be good, because Vegeta would really benefit from having a kid that was actually a fucking Saiyan. Because Trunks is not a fucking Saiyan. Trunks is not a Saiyan. If Trunks is a Saiyan, then I'm a fucking Namekian. Yeah, like, all that stuff was really, really cool. Then, of course, we have the whole thing where Champa has brought some Earth food, and because he's a fat fuck, he's like, oh, hey, yo, Beerus, we have a tournament. If I win, I get Earth. If you win, you get the Super Dragon Balls, which are mostly in my universe, and you've got a couple over here. And that's a really good thing. It introduces the concept of the Super Dragon Balls, which is, honestly, I don't mind. I've heard some people say that they really don't like the concept of the Super Dragon Balls, but I don't know. I kind of like the idea that you have the Earth Dragon Balls, which were shaved off of the Namekian Dragon Balls, right? Like, the Earth Dragon Balls are like tiny, like fist-shaped things. The Namekian Dragon Balls are like this big, and then the Super Dragon Balls are the size of a planet. It's kind of cool, because we've never really had an origin for the Dragon Balls, one that made sense. In the original Dragon Ball, Master Roshi said that they were... Fuck, I may butcher this, so do not fucking get on my case and just kind of be like, hey, no, this is actually it. But they were the souls of some mystics or something that crystallized into balls and they grant wishes or something like that. Which was then later blown the fuck out because Kami was like, nah, man, they're mine. And then we later find out that, nah, man, Kami's a fucking liar. And they're actually shavings off the Namekian Dragon Balls, which are these big fucking things. And because they're bigger, they have more power. And then we're never really told, like, hey, where did these come from? Because the precedent so far has been, hey, Dragon Balls don't come from nothing, fam. They exist and they're from somewhere. The fact that then we're like, oh yeah, no, we got the fucking Super Dragon Balls, and they're just giant ass planets that, I mean, if there are more mystic races than the Namekians, like in Universe 6, or even more in Universe 7 or wherever, then it would make sense. It's like, you got these giant planet-sized orbs, a couple of mystic races, shave off like seven little chunks, make their own Dragon Balls, and there you go. And that's really, really cool. I really like that idea. It will only get ridiculous if we get the Super Duper Dragon Balls later on, because right now, the Super Dragon Balls, they're implied to have been created at the dawn of the multiverse. Whatever, you know, like by Zeno or Zeno's dad or whatever. I don't know. But I thought that was really, really cool. And the whole introduction of what could have been an alternate universe to the one we're used to. One that is just teeming with similar but not creatures and aliens. Like, Goku had this moment of, oh boy, a whole new universe of dudes to punch. And I kind of had that same reaction. I was like, oh, a whole new universe of dudes for Goku to punch. Like, you know? I thought that was really cool. And seeing the alternate histories is really, really cool. Like, the Saiyans, be it through genetic mutation or through something else, Saiyans evolved away from their tails. They evolved away from the Ozaru. So they became more peaceful because every full moon they weren't turning into giant stompy fucking monsters. So their planet stayed. Their original planet, not Planet Vegeta, Planet Sadla, which was the original planet that they were from, where the original King Vegeta was like, okay, hang on a minute, we gotta fucking leave. And because they didn't have their Ozaru tails, they found power in other ways. And while they are, by default, less powerful than a base Saiyan from Universe 7, they are a lot more well-trained, I guess is the word. Like, your General Saiyan warrior was more of like a savage, like from what we know of Vegeta and Nappa and Raditz. But these Saiyans seem to be a lot more martial arts, so they kind of pick shit up faster. Like, they're not as talented, but they're very skilled, which I thought was a really, really cool like difference between them, right? It was really, really cool. I like that a lot. And I kind of want to see more of Planet Sadler and more of that universe's Saiyans development. Because, honestly, one thing that's kind of been rattling around in my head, like, one of the possible origins for the Saiyans that we were given was that they shared a planet with the Tuffles. And then because they turned into Ozaru, they fucking murdered the shit out of all the Tuffles. And the Tuffles were essentially just humans. If the Saiyans were all peaceful, and the Universe 6 Saiyans had Tuffles on their planet, then who's to say maybe the same thing that's happening on Earth with Vegeta and Goku and their human wives isn't happening, and these Universe 6 Saiyans are really just half-breeds, and they're much, much stronger because of it, because that's how genetics work in Dragon Ball, apparently. Like, just a whole bunch of little implications that are probably never going to be followed up on, but they're just kind of laid out there, just slid along the table to you as you watch the show, and it just gets your mind going like, hang on, what's going on here, fam? Let me think about it, because Toriyama and Toyotaro and all these people, they probably ain't gonna fucking answer it, because they just make it up. They're probably gonna forget. Like, just a whole bunch of cool shit that could have happened. And then, unfortunately, we get to the Future Trunks arc, which I want to say I liked it. I really, 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 really want to say I liked it. But fuck me, I have never seen an arc in any anime build and 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 build, and then completely drop the fucking ball at the last moment. Holy shit! Like, an evil Goku, or either an evil Goku or someone evil that looks like Goku and speaks with his voice. Like, Trunks, like future Trunks, not like GT Trunks, which is just normal Trunks but older, but future Trunks, which might as well be an alternate universe now I think about it. Is the future a different universe? Okay, fuck. I'm gonna be going around in fucking circles forever on that one, so I'm gonna come back to that some other time. But just future Trunks with all the memories from the Android saga comes back in time because someone who looks like Goku, talks like Goku, acts like Goku, is now fucking murdering everyone, just murping the whole planet way more than the fucking androids did. And just, you have this amazing moment of Bulma sacrificing herself, future Bulma, not Bulma, future Bulma, sacrificing herself for Trunks, and you see how Mai grew up again, which kind of creepy now to think about it, because Mai has grown up twice, so she's technically an old lady. That's something to think about. Something that she's an extreme cougar. Extreme cougar. Just all this stuff that which just showed up and was really, really neat. Just seeing this destroyed future that had been rebuilt once and then had to be rebuilt again, and then gets destroyed again by someone that everyone should realize should think, this is Goku. It's a fucking hero. He saved the fucking universe a million times, as well as an explanation of like, hey, after the androids, because Goku was dead. Here's how Trunks, solved the Dabura problem. Here's how I solved the Boo problem. I solved it by Boo not awakening because everyone that was powerful enough to stop Boo, to awaken Boo, was already dead, so nah, it's fine. I was the only one powerful enough, so all I had to do was kill Dabura, it's fine. Like, that's a really cool thing. That, like, and you see why his sword is different. Like, just little details like that. It's like, hey, your sword's different. Like, the only thing that was a bit weird was that his hair was blue, which, I mean, I'm not complaining, but, like, the fact that everyone assumed his hair was blue before they even saw him was kind of weird. I feel like maybe there should have been something to be like, oh yeah, when people in Bulma's family on her, I'm gonna say dad's side because her mother is blonde, when people on her dad's side reach a certain age, their hair goes from lavender to blue. Just a little thing like that. Like one little throwaway phrase, like, oh yeah, my hair was this and this color until I reached age this and this. Because I'm pretty sure it was in the actual anime as well. I'm pretty sure her hair was closer to Trunks at some point. Like, it wasn't as blue as it was. I don't know. That's just a weird little idiosyncrasy, I guess. It's just all this cool shit. Revisiting a character that everybody loves. Someone that survived Dragon Ball and got out. They won. They got what they came for and they left. And they come back and you get to see all this shit, and it's just everything up until we find out who Goku Black actually was really, really cool. When we find out he's actually a whiny little Kaioshin that's not even from Universe 7, he's from Universe fucking 10. And he's just like, oh, wow, the Ningen, wow. Like, it just takes all the goddamn menace out of it. Like, as Goku going evil, that's an end of the world fuck you scenario right there. Instead, what we got was a whiny Kaioshin who got his ass beat by Goku after seeing a bunch of cavemen beat each other up with clubs, which, you know, cavemen do. I'm pretty sure Cave Kaioshin back in the year -1 billion BCE weren't too different. Fucking beat each other with clubs, and then Goku kicks the shit out of him because he's a pussy. And he's like, oh, wow, the Ningen. Oh, but I lost to a Ningen. Wow. So he goes to the Super Dragon Balls using a time ring, which apparently time travel is illegal unless you're a Kaioshin. Then you just get a fucking cool membership ring that lets you time travel. Apparently. Yeah, he just goes to the future, gathers the future Super Dragon Balls, wishes to be body swapped with Goku, who I imagine was in the other world at the time. It's never really explained, because Goku's supposed to be dead in the future timeline, but I guess his body is still around. I mean, I guess if he was in the other world, then that would explain it. But, I don't know. Because Dragon Balls should not, because the regular Dragon Balls don't exist. They don't, because Kami's dead, Piccolo's dead. That's another plot hole that I just realized, see? Gotta keep thinking. Gotta keep thinking on it, otherwise plot holes sneak by you. And then he's just like, I want Son Goku's body. So he steals Son Goku's body, and then he goes to the other world, kills Son Goku, then goes and kills Chi-Chi and Goten, and then he goes about killing everyone else. Okay. And why did you do that? But then because he's changed the future with the time ring, there's a past version of him back in time who then, for some reason, Goku discovers that Goku and Beerus figure out that the time ring is from Universe 10, so he goes and he meets Gowasu, which is the Kaioshin in charge of Zamasu, and he says, hey, yo, there's someone who's body swapped with Goku in the future blowing the shit out of people. You guys missing a time ring. Because the Zamasu that body swapped with Goku was from further in the future than the Zamasu they're talking about, Goku still beats the shit out of that Zamasu and because the time ring hasn't gone missing yet, Zamasu's like, body swapping with Son Goku. Seems like that's not working too well. I know, I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but wish for immortality. So now there's two Zamasus just existing outside of time, I guess. Which doesn't make a ton of sense. Like, you start to see where this arc starts to kind of fall apart. Where it starts to stop making any goddamn sense whatsoever. Because I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it real hard. And it just continues along those lines. Just starts to lose coherence until eventually Trunks spontaneously learns the Spirit Bomb. Despite the fact I'm pretty sure King Kai is dead at this point. I'm pretty sure King Kai is dead in the future timeline. I don't know. I mean, he's a Kaio, so regardless, Trunks would never have met King Kai, so he would never have known how to use the Spirit Bomb. Goku was dead when he was a baby, so Goku couldn't teach him it. There's nobody to teach him the fucking Genki Dama, man. There's nobody around. And yet, he learns how to do a Spirit Bomb. Everyone through fucking time and space fucking channels energy to him. He channels a Spirit Bomb into his sword and cuts Zamasu in half. Oh, after he fuses with himself to create Zamasu 2, Zamasu Harder. Which, in of itself, is silly. Doesn't fusing... I don't know, man. They fucked up fusing in this arc, too. Potara is no longer permanent unless you're a Kaio, which kind of makes the Buu Saga retroactively dumber. Fucking... merging with yourself seems like it would be a bad idea because you're two different consciousnesses that are the exact same. Like, honestly, he should have gone like Time Cop and just disintegrated into pink. Oh wait, no, he did do that, didn't he? But they just, everything got all fucked up. Potara got fucked up. Kaioshin got fucked up. Time travel got fucked up. The Super Dragon Balls almost got fucked up. The Spirit Bomb got fucked up. Everything got fucked up. And then you'd think at the end where Trunks cuts Zamasu in half and kills him, you'd be like, okay, well that arc is done. Everyone can go back to the past and we can go about our business and get back to something that maybe makes a little bit more sense. We don't get that. We don't get that at all. Instead, Zamasu says, psh, nothing personnel, kid, and turns into literally an angry fart cloud that spreads throughout the universe, past and future. I guess. And okay. And then Goku is just like, oh wait, I got a thing from Zeno-sama in the sorry, not Zeno-sama, Zen-chan, because you know, you speak to the god of everything like you're a fucking kindergartner. So he presses a button, summons Zeno from the future, and says, hey, there's all this evil fart gas around. Can you fix it? And Zeno's just like, alright then, fam. And then he blows up the universe. Oh, the future universe, as everyone bails into the time machine and gets the fuck out. Like, and that's it. And oh, and then Goku goes back to the destroyed future and takes Zeno back, even though the universe shouldn't exist, so it should just be an empty void. And Zeno's just kind of like, nah, alright then, fam, it's fine. And then Trunks and Mai and all the rest of the survivors are just like, hey, yo, we're gonna go find another timeline to live in. If you could do that, then why did you not do that in the first place? Because it sounds like burning timelines is not something that's frowned upon here. Because Beerus is like, well, Beerus was all like, oh no, Bulma, you can't have a time machine. I'll blow it up every time you build it. He's just like, ah, yeah, fine, go, fam. Go fucking find another timeline that doesn't have you in it. Go. Laters. And then we'll never see them again, but hey, yeah. It's very slapdash. It felt like they were building to something important and groundbreaking, and they just kind of dropped the ball and fucked it up. It doesn't make a ton of sense at all. Just any sense whatsoever. And then we get into our current arc, which is the universe survival arc, which built and built and built and built and built and built forever and ever and ever, trying to build all the teams and realizing that losing means your universe explodes, learning about all the different universes, and for the most part, it's been very, 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 very good. Like, seeing how everybody has gained power and everybody has new tricks up their sleeve. Like, even people like Ten Shinhan, who is, in my opinion, the biggest shitbird. A bigger shitbird than Yamcha. And it made me think, okay, yeah, maybe Ten Shinhan has a chance here. Maybe he has a chance. Maybe Krillin has a chance. And there's quite a bit of filler, it feels like. Quite a few episodes feel like, okay, you probably didn't need to show us that one. Especially some bits that from the other universes. They just kind of feel unnecessary and kind of took away from the reveal of all the warriors that they did when the universe tournament actually started. I don't know. Just a lot of things felt out of place and like they didn't need to happen. Like, we're on episode 100, but it feels like we should probably be on episode 90 or 95, if I'm being generous. I don't know. It just feels like there's just 5 or 10 whole episodes worth of just filler bullshit that really was not needed. Especially when it comes to unnecessary freeze frames on still images. Like, the main tournament itself has been fucking nasty with that. Like, when the action picks up and the tournament's actually going, it's really, 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 really good. But when everything stops and it's just like, oh, universe blewed up. Oh no! Like, people will they will stand there and be like, "Oh no, that universe just died. Let's all stand here completely dead still to save the animation budget for 1 whole minute." That's just what they do. Like, fucking episode 98, which is a full... I timed that shit. It was a full 1.5 minutes of freeze frames. And then another couple of minutes of just weirdly staged shots that didn't really have anything happen in them. Like, at all. It was really weird, and it feels like they're just kind of squeezing the budget for all they got, which... I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Toei. You're trying to make it look as good as it can by cutting corners in places that don't really need to have all of the love and polish put on it. But would it kill you to just chuck a couple more yen at it? Would it kill you to just stop doing what Dragon Ball has been memed as for years? Like, the ancient fucking dead meme of Goku shouting for 7 episodes powering up. We don't need to do that anymore. The anime and the manga are 2 separate entities. Like, for Dragon Ball Super... Supre. Oh, God, turn Spanish there for a minute. For Dragon Ball Super, Toriyama, yeah, isn't even writing it. He isn't writing the manga. He went to Toei, and he went to Toyotaro, who is a fan artist who can ape Toriyama style very, very, very well. Like, I didn't even know Toriyama wasn't doing the manga until like a while in. But he sat them down. He was like, right, this is Dragon Ball Super. Here is a series of events that have to happen, and here's where the points you have to hit. Right? Anything in between is fair game. You can do whatever between these 2 points, so long as you reach the next point. And as a result, the manga is at a way different pace. Like, I think the manga's behind the anime right now because it spent a lot of time exploring other shit. Which, in a manga, is totally fine. In an anime, you don't need to do that. They don't need to wait for Toyotaro. They don't need to wait for him. They can and have blazed ahead, but they're still acting as if they have to wait. They're still acting as if they have to wait for a manga to come out so they can start drawing the next bit. And I don't know why. I don't understand why. It feels like almost like they're stuck in a habit, or they're like, okay, fuck, we don't know what to do next. And instead of reaching out to Toriyama or Toyotaro, they go, fuck it, let's have a still frame here for fucking 5 minutes and think up something while we cut the next episode. You know, like it feels off. It's very weird and jarring. Like especially when, thanks to you guys, I've been watching way more anime than I'm used to. Way more anime than I'm used to. Like fucking without this channel, without you guys, I would never have watched One Punch Man. I would never have watched fucking Yujo Senki. I would never have watched Overlord. I would never have watched any of the anime I've seen. And now that like I've got a wider breadth of anime to pick from than I ever fucking did growing up. Because when I was growing up, it was Toonami or nothing. It was Toonami or nothing when I was growing up. And so I was just kind of used to the screaming for 7 hours. That was anime to me. But now, you don't really need that filler anymore. They're making a 90s anime when they should be making a 2010s anime. It doesn't jive. And while everything else is good, like the pacing is better than Dragon Ball Z, but that's not exactly a high bar. Like I don't know. Like I never watched Kai all the way through, which I've heard has got much better pacing. But if this is what Kai's pacing's like, then going from Dragon Ball to that'd be like a breath of fresh air. It'd be like, oh, thank fuck. He's not screaming for 7 hours. I can get to the next bit. But it's still like a minute here, a minute there. It adds up. And some episodes feel like they go on forever, and that's amazing. Like episodes where you have these long, protracted fights and slice of life bits and all this good shit that is just squeezed into that 22 minutes. Episodes where they use up every single minute of the 22 minutes that they have to work with. And those feel amazing. Those episodes are awesome, and you're like, yo, let's go, fam. Let's go, we in there. And they feel like movies, almost. And then you have other episodes that are the opposite, and they have long fucking frames. They've got long fucking... not screaming for 7 episodes, but screaming for a decent amount of time. And it just feels so like... I watched 22 minutes of anime, and I got maybe 10 minutes of actually what I came for. And then I've got to wait another week to get more. It's like the world's cruelest drug dealer. Is like, hey man, I got like the best heroin ever this week. Here you go. You'll be tripping for hours. Then the next week he's like, hey man, don't worry. I got you something a little bit better. You'll trip for about 5 minutes, and then you'll like come down for like another 10, and then you get one more little 5-minute burst at the end. That would be fucking torture, wouldn't it? But not that I know, because I don't do heroin, I promise. I don't know, it's just... there's a whole bunch of shit going on, especially with this arc, that's kind of very, very reminiscent of the Universe 6 tournament, which is my favorite arc in this entire fucking series. And it's also introduced a whole lot of waifus, including an entire universe made of waifus, which, you know me, I love my waifus. Like, I never thought Dragon Ball would have a waifu in it, but you know where it go. But then you also have just shit that's like, why? Like, Krillin had all this build-up in the things leading up to the tournament, and then when the tournament actually comes, and I'm not going to spoil this, by the way, because we're only a couple episodes away from what happened, but when it all comes up to it, Krillin doesn't get to show any of the cool shit that he learned. At all. Like, we are, at the very least, more than halfway done with the tournament, and we haven't seen Master Roshi do anything. We haven't seen Tien Shinhan do anything. We haven't seen Piccolo do anything. We haven't seen Gohan do anything. We've seen Android 17 do a little bit, but he's not really doing a whole lot. We've seen Android 18 do a bit. We saw Krillin do one thing, and then stuff happens. And I'm not gonna say what happens, but stuff happens. That means he won't be able to show us what his new power level is. Let's leave it at that. And it's becoming the Goku and Vegeta show again. And the series started like that, and it started moving away from it a little bit. It started showing us Goku, Vegeta, and friends. But now the and friends is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller again. it's, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I hope this arc shows us a little bit more of what the other guys have, because Frieza is there, Frost is there, who is the alternate universe Frieza. Fucking all of the promo stuff, like in the opening OP, you know, in the opening whatever the fuck, I don't, like, it shows action shots of everyone, like fucking everyone. Like Tenshinhan doing fucking the Kikoho, the fucking Master Roshi doing a buffed up Kamehameha, like all this shit that you're just like, yo, I want to see all this shit come back. I want to see all these characters be relevant again. And they're not. And they haven't been. We are fucking 5 episodes into this tournament now. Like 5 episodes. Like this tournament started at episode like 95, I think. I'm not looking at any notes. It's all unscripted. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm hoping it gets better, because this show is a really, really good show. But they're fucking it up. They're fucking things up, man. They're fucking things up super bad. And it's really, really, it's really, really, really annoying. I don't know, but I've been talking for a long ass time, and I apologize for that, but I'm gonna start doing more episode reviews of Dragon Ball Super, probably in this style, because I'm kind of in a groove when I'm talking off the cuff like this, and it's kind of my favorite way to do reviews, especially when it's like fresh off the mind. For a full series review, that's when I do the scripts, and that's why staring at itself is a completely different thing, because you don't want to see me sitting here reading a script for fucking 7 minutes, or however long most staring ats are. Yeah. That's 100 episodes of Dragon Ball Super fucking condensed down to 41 minutes. So, thank you all for watching. If you guys like anime, and this is the first video of mine you're watching, then hey, I do an anime react review thing. I say it's a react, but it's more of a review where you watch the video with me at first, and then I review at the end. I guess that's kind of it, but... So if this is the first thing of mine you're watching and you'd be interested in that, then hey, hit me up. And I also do normal reviews as well, but those are kind of... Those take me a while, because I'm not a very good video editor, as you can tell by this. So if that's your kind of bag, then hit me with a subscribe and a like. And if you are a current subscriber and you like your anime fix, then hey, let me know what you thought about this style of review, because maybe I'll do a couple more, probably mostly for Dragon Ball. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be completely honest, mostly for Dragon Ball. And if you have any suggestions on how to make it better, I guess, then leave that down there below as well as your thoughts on Dragon Ball Super if you've watched it so far. Thank you all for watching, everybody. As always, I am Nozovix. I fucking love Dragon Ball. And I will see you in the next video. But most importantly of all, I shall see you around the road.